Good afternoon, Rip City. 3 o'clock here in beautiful Portland area. Plenty of news to get to today because it was the first weekend of full football, a Saturday of college and a Sunday of the NFL. On Saturday, the Ducks took care of business, grabbing a 69 nice to 3 victory over Oklahoma State. Meanwhile, in Corvallis, the Beavers struggled. They fell to 0-2 on the season following a 36-27 loss to Fresno State. Beavers edge reporter and Rip City Radio producer Brendan Slaughter will join us at 3:20 to talk about it. And Coach Trent Bray will join us at 5:20. In the NFL, it was crazy. Who saw that Buffalo-Baltimore game last night? If you didn't, we're going to talk about it next on the Rip City Drive. Oh, welcome into the Rip City Drive. Chris Burkhardt here, filling in for Chad Doing today. Doing my absolute best to host a radio show when I can't hear myself in my headphones because I think that my adapter is broken. You know, that's life. I can kind of hear myself. I sound like a robot, a little scratchy, like I'm sick. I'm not sick. I'm nice and healthy. I mean, I'm maybe a little hungover from football action because holy smokes, it was nice to have a Sunday of NFL football. Week 1 going down. It was beautiful. It was sloppy, but it was beautiful. And of course, you got Minnesota taking on Chicago at Soldier Field here for Monday Night Football here in a little bit. So football action all the way around. College football has been fun. So this is going to be a football heavy show. That's absolutely right. Brendan Slaughter will join us in about 20 minutes time to talk about that Beaver loss to Fresno State. And then Coach Trent Bray will join us at 5:20 as well, get his thoughts on it. Hopefully everything he says is safe for work. Everything he says is safe for work. And I'm going to have a special guest today. Chad let me host, and he said, I'm going to bring in a special guest. So joining me today, my friend Eli Johnson from the Just Two Fans podcast, which is only, hasn't recorded in about a year. They'll get on that. Life gets at you sometimes. You got to move. You got to do this.
Things change in life.
But he's a founding member of the Beefy Man Club.
Oh man, that's a throwback.
That's a little college right there. He was you guys, for the listeners here, they all know about my my history and my time in the Oregon marching band. And Eli was in the Oregon marching band as well, a fellow saxophone player. And then I left such an impression on him back in college that he followed in my footsteps and then became a member of the rare drum major fraternity as well.
No, you're just my idol, Chris.
That's what I thought.
And then you invited me here to watch Monday Night Football, and now you got me talking on the radio. I don't know.
I mean, I could tell I was your idol by the way you looked into my eyes all the time, but.
And I can't even see him right now because there's like a little light in the way.
I know. We're trying to get this studio set up right, but I can barely hear you. There's lights in the way. I mean, this is what it is.
I didn't know I was going to be on YouTube too. I would have shaved, maybe like cleaned up a little bit.
No.
Instead, you get the whole.
You're an Oregonian. I mean, it fits in right.
It's just Mountain Man City over here,
like Prineville,
Midsummer.
right?
Huh?
Prineville.
That's
right. The pride of Prineville.
I wouldn't say I'm the pride of Prineville, but. I am from there.
Okay.
So.
There you go. But he's going to join us today, talk plenty of college football. Obviously, we're going to dive into what happened at Autzen Stadium. There may or may not have been a murder. I think there is wanted signs for Dan Lanning all around Stillwater. We're obviously going to talk about the other OSU team, the one that resides here locally. They did not look good on Saturday, and it does not get easier for the Beavers. There's also plenty of other college football action to get to, the NFL as well, because the NFL is king. But before we get to that, I got to talk about the things that you do off the field, right? And that is your entertainment. Now, everyone knows I'm a video game guy. I like college football 26.
Mm-hmm.
We did have a dynasty. If you guys have heard me talk about it before, back when college football 25 came out, they were jazzed, right? This guy was jazzed. I was jazzed.
Hyped.
We played that game, and then I was too good at it. And next thing you know, everyone in our dynasty started dropping like flies, and they stopped playing. So,
well, it's not fun when my idol's just beating everyone.
When I'm winning national championships with App State, yeah, I can see where it hurts a little bit.
But I was playing as Cal.
Yeah.
And I had Jade Knott just out there running people over, but it wasn't enough.
It wasn't
enough.
Never
That's
enough.
Okay. I'm never enough for you.
That's
I'm
okay.
sorry.
But the point is, I love college football 26, and I like video games. And you had mentioned, because I brought this up, I didn't know this, but one of your favorite video games all time, the Fallout series.
Love it.
Which one? Which your go-to? What's your favorite?
I mean, New Vegas is, I think, objectively the best one.
Okay.
I really enjoyed 4. I thought it made a lot of fun, new innovations to the franchise.
Yep.
So I would say, New Vegas is the best, but I really, really enjoy the replay ability of Fallout 4.
I like Fallout 4. But the story in Vegas is like...
It's way better. I mean, it's the only one that's not like, I got to find my dad or my son or my.
The thing I liked about Fallout 4 is that was my first actual foray. I missed Fallout 3. I missed New Vegas. I jumped into Fallout 4. And for someone who wasn't familiar, now I did have Fallout Tactics, Brotherhood of Steel back in the day on the PC.
Wow. Okay.
But for someone who wasn't big into it, like Fallout 4 was a perfect intro. You got all your factions in, you got your lore. Now, if you give me Fallout New Vegas story with Fallout 4 graphics and mechanics.
That's the best game ever made.
Yeah, I still might, now might be the time to try 76 now that they've worked out some of the bugs.
Yeah, I re-downloaded it the other day with a whole lot of optimism in my mind, and then I haven't touched it since.
Okay.
So
we'll
see where we're at.
I'll try it out anyway. Now, the reason I bring up Fallout before we get into all our football talk, and it does make sense because I think there's a couple fan bases, some of whom we are going to talk about today, might feel as if the bombs were dropped on them and they are in their Fallout shelters and they are not going to come out and watch their favorite football team play again until Vault Tech tells them they can. Mm-hmm. But the reason I brought that up actually is because my wife and I, you know her well from back in the day too, Danielle.
I was in a zombie movie with her.
That's right, which still lives on YouTube, by the way.
Oh, God. Does it really?
Yes, it does. But no, we had been watching the Fallout show, late to the party. Keep in mind, I have 3 kids, a lot of Disney going on in the house. And you can only watch a show like Fallout when they're asleep. Because if they walk in and see a rad roach getting destroyed, might be game over for, their sweet dreams.
Yeah, I get that.
But we completed the series yesterday. And I was just going, okay, I cannot wait till December for season 2. Because that was, without question in my mind, the perfect video game to film medium transformation I think I've ever watched.
Yeah, I think far and away the best film screen adaptation.
There you go.
Of a video game.
We're so old. We said to film. Do kids even use that anymore?
No, I don't. What is film?
Yeah, what is film?
Can I go get it developed?
Yeah.
Is the CVS still developed film? I don't even know. But it's the best screen adaptation of a video game all time. We have all these films. The Assassin's Creed movie, terrible.
Oh, so bad.
So bad, right? You've got the World of Warcraft movies, terrible.
Right.
And then you get that spark of hope with The Last of Us.
Which was good.
It was good. Mostly a shot-for-shot remake. And also The Last of Us, the video game, really played into, it's a really good story to put into TV format.
Oh, it's ready-made.
Right. Now, what they did, then they crawled so Fallout could run, because Fallout took what is not necessarily a great medium to put into film and then just made it perfect.
Yep.
It's the perfect feel for the show. You could tell me that's part of the video game. It's the exact same feel. The world is the same.
In GTA 5, sure you've played that.
Yep. Oh yeah.
You know, in GTA 5, they broke the mold and they went out there with the multiple playable characters.
Yeah.
You could be Trevor and all that. They could totally make a Fallout game based off like the show,
Oh, that'd be fun.
where rather than picking your faction, you can go back and forth between a vault dweller to a brotherhood
That'd
to
be
a
fun.
ghoul. Like I mean,
I will tell you that all those characters already are in a video game. All of them. Because there is a mobile game called Fallout Shelter.
oh yes,
That is the most dumbly addicting game on the planet.
I started playing that when it first came out.
Yeah.
And it is so dumb and it is so bad. Yet I was checking my phone every hour,
Every hour.
irritated that, oh my gosh, here come the Raiders and
Yeah.
my kitchen's on fire.
Of course.
There's
of course.
literally like no end. It's just,
Well, now they've expanded it. So there's a lot more to do. And you can like put buildings together. And there's all the characters from the Fallout series are in it now. And they're,
Okay.
of course, like amazing.
that is hilarious. But yeah, I just brought that up because, man, I love that show.
I love the show.
Sometimes
love
I
the
got to
games.
give the fans a peek behind the curtain. I'm not just sports talk. I'm cultured.
Yeah. Look at you. You're well rounded.
It was just,
Jack of all trades.
it was,
Renaissance man.
It was done well.
Yeah, it was really done well.
It was done well, dude. And like I'm sitting there, I'm like, I think the coolest part about a show like that is the fact that CGI is used absolutely minimally.
Yeah.
The fact that the ghoul is old school, sat in a chair for 6-7 hours to get his face plastered on,
Yeah.
and it wasn't a CGI thing. The fact that they're like walking around, like, I mean, come on, like, I want to wear a freaking power armor.
Yeah.
Like, what do we do? Like,
Well, like this is like and this is a great trend, but that's a trend through all film and media right now is that they're going away from CGI as much as possible
yes,
because there was a time in like the 2000s when they forgot that we could tell real from not real.
right.
And so, you have these CGI battles, like specifically the Hobbit movies,
Right.
that are just like, this doesn't look like a battle. This looks like a computer made this up. It looks AI, you know?
Yes. And it's, yeah, old school practical effects, man.
Always practical effects. That's what makes Star Wars still hold up.
Yeah. Don't overthink it. Old school works. Maybe some of these football coaches that we're going to talk about today could understand that old school works. Don't overthink the process.
Yeah.
Run the ball.
Football's a solved game.
5 yards in a cloud of dust. Like, come on.
Give me some trenches.
Yes.
Give me some trenches.
Now, let's just air it out nonstop.
Yeah, just all these, we have to have all these patterns and route combos and stuff. No,
also, like,
quit running the trick plays. Run the dang ball.
And we've talked about this many a time via text, but like, I guess it's really easy when you're an armchair quarterback or an armchair head coach. But like, why is clock management so bad?
Oh my God. It's horrifying.
Like,
I mean, Colorado with 2 timeouts at the end of that game. And then Dion, I don't know if you saw, Dion doubled down
yeah.
on his clock management at the end of the game. And he goes, well, there's 26 seconds left and he goes backwards. Are you going to call a timeout on that?
Yeah.
Yes. And then he wastes, 15 seconds and runs out of bounds. Are you going to do that? Are you going to, yes. Are you
Not
gonna call
calling
timeout there?
that timeout.
Yes.
What, like 22 seconds went off the clock?
Yeah.
And I've never heard a coach say, "Oh, you gonna call a timeout in that situation?"
Yes.
Yes. Like,
Give me a break.
I mean, I respect Prime. I like him.
I do as
One of
well.
my favorite players all time at that position, defensive back. Dude was a stud. I love the fact that he brought eyeballs to Colorado. I'm not sold on him as a coach.
Oh, I'm pretty down on the Dion era down there.
You guys know that
As a
'cause I've
coach.
said it to
Yeah.
you guys.
Yeah.
But man, when you sit there and you got fans who go, yeah, wish Mario Cristobal was managing our clock. It's not doing very well. All right, we're going to take a quick break here on the RipCityDrive. When we come back, it's the Butcher and the Slaughter. Brendan Slaughter will join us, and we're going to try not to hurt him too bad, but we got to talk about what happened in Corvallis on Saturday and the outlook for the Oregon State Beavers. Chris Burkhardt here. This is a Rip City Drive on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620.
problems all day in all areas. Handoff to Hankerson. Hank takes it up the middle. He gets out to midfield and into Bulldog territory. Hankerson will finish the day with over 100 yards, but that's of little consolation to him or anyone else as the clock runs out. Final score, Fresno State 36, Oregon State 27.
That was the great Mike Parker, the voice of the Oregon State Beavers. You could hear the disappointment in the tone of his voice there as Oregon State dropped a heartbreaker to Fresno State, a game a lot of fans, a lot of reporters, a lot of people on campus, basically anybody wearing orange and black, and it wasn't Oklahoma State in the state of Oregon on that Saturday, was a little disappointed, right? Because they wanted it to be the bounce back win. They wanted everything to get right, and it just wasn't the case as the Beavers, they dropped one to Fresno State in a game that, again, a lot of people thought they could have had 36-27 the final score. And I think right now this team probably has more questions than answers. And to do the best to answer them, we bring on our Beaver reporter, Beaver's Edge, the man, the myth, the butcher and the slaughter reunited, Brendan Slaughter. Brendan, thanks for taking the time today, buddy.
Chris, what's going on, my man? How you doing?
Well, I'm good, and I got my buddy Eli co-hosting with me today. So if you hear a random voice, that's his. He's like, I can't wait to talk college football, man. But he and I were just sitting here spitballing, going, what's going on? And the biggest thing is just like, Brendan, I look at the game and everything that happened. Obviously, I might have to have the dump button ready just in case you want to drop some expletives too, right? That's what's going on in Corvallis. But just initial thoughts after that loss, because that one, again, I'm not even a Beaver fan, and it felt like a gut punch.
Oh, it was. I mean, I think even just digesting it a couple days later, you still can't really get over the disappointment. I mean, you go back to, the Cal game, right? And obviously Oregon State just they weren't ready, right? They didn't show up in that game, and it was like, okay, so what? You kind of just chalk it up as one of those not great openers. This game against Fresno, fellas, I have never seen a game in my entire life, 29 years on this planet, that was as won and lost in this case on special teams as this game was for Oregon State. I've also got, the encyclopedia of Oregon State, both in, my own history and just talking to a lot of, old timers on our message boards on beaversedge.com that sat through some of the worst years of Oregon State football, 70s, 80s, 90s, Chris. And none of they're like, okay, Oregon State's had worse teams. I don't know that there's ever been a special teams performance that bad. It's probably a top wherever that ranks in the, pitfalls of Oregon State history in that case.
Well, the thing is, Brendan, is it's wild because we've all watched football. We all love football. We have seen special team mistakes before. But Oregon State made multiple that, like, you might see once a year in all of college football. And they made them multiple times in that game. A snap that was 20 yards over the place kicker's head. And the punt that was a punt that wasn't a punt because it was a bad snap and botched the snap and then kicked the ball. And they return it for a touchdown. These are things, like, you can't make the stuff up that happened, Brendan.
No, it was a comedy of errors, Chris. And at some point, as we're all sitting there in the press box, like, you're just like, how much worse could it get? I mean, I think a lot of, in my opinion, I don't know if I want to say excuses, but there were, some excuses that were given out there. And to be honest, I like a lot of fans, am surprised there weren't personnel changes after that game because, anybody else performs that bad in a game, Chris, or at their job, I'm not sure they still have it anymore, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the old saying, failing to prepare is preparing to fail, right? And this is all in the preparation, is it not?
I mean, you look at the situation with the exact snaps, right? Oregon State's long snapper, Dylan Black, he went down with an injury earlier in the week. Dylan is obviously as clutch as they come with long snappers. We heard from Trent Bray postgame. The Beavers knew, quote, from him early in the week that Dylan Black was not going to be available. And even if, like, on the surface of that, you're like, okay, Dylan Black was a guy who unfortunately missed all of last season with a cancer diagnosis. So Oregon State had a long snapper that's still on the roster this year in Jackson Robertson. And all of us in the press box were like, okay, they got, backup long snapper, but this is a guy who saw experience all of last season. And, from what we heard from Trent Bray, there were, for lack of better terms, the yips kind of going on with Robertson. And then they were throwing in a freshman in Will Haberland, who, again, pride of Eugene, in there just to, because he did it in high school. But you're talking just a razor thin margin. And once you start talking about how special teams can impact the game in such big ways, Chris, like later in the game, you're talking the inability or, not even feeling comfortable kicking field goals, let alone punting. Like it just creates a giant snowball downhill of bad play. And, Trent Bray talked about it today at his press conference. He kind of said he didn't really lay blame on anyone, whether that was the players or necessarily special teams coordinator Jamie Christian. He kind of just moved on from it. So I don't think that's necessarily the response fans were looking for, but I guess we'll see how they fare against Texas Tech this weekend.
Well, that's the thing too. I mean, that's what every coach preaches: win or loss, right? Next opponent, got to move on, wipe it away, and see what you can do. So then that leads to how do you rebound? Because this does not get easier, just on paper at least. If you're Oregon State, you got a top team here in Texas Tech, a top 25 team. That's always a place that is just hard to play, right? You get to see the tortilla toss and all that fun stuff. And then you get Oregon, who is playing right now like one of the best teams in the country. And then, I mean, Houston, who's no slouch, out at App State, which is a tough team. Like, this schedule gets tough. So how do you rebound and avoid what could very well be an 0-4, 0-5 start?
Yeah, I think we're going to find out a lot, Chris, about Trent Bray's ability to keep this team together, right? Because barring a miracle, you're going to be 0-4. And you're talking to a Beaver fan here, and, I'd like to look at the most optimistic outlook, too. You really, I talked about it with Chad doing last week. You needed that win against Fresno to not stare down an 0-4 start. And I think the Beavers could play better against Tech or better against Oregon and still lose. Like, that's just the way it looks as I look at it. That being said, let's just say that they're there, Chris, entering the Houston game after that. You then, with how bad this season is, I was just having this conversation with one of my coworkers today, that at this point it's got to be circle the wagons, find a way, sell out to get to 6 wins so you have something to build on moving forward. So let's just say they are 0-4. You're then asking Oregon State to win 6 of their final 8 games to get to that reach. And there are some opportunities, right? I don't think Tulsa's great this year. Sam Houston's not great this year. Lafayette's obviously a win. Wake Forest, could be. Like, there are opportunities still. But now you're asking yourself, like, to have that razor-thin margin, Chris, and maybe those 50-50 games against, like, Houston, App State, like you were talking about. Now you're, like, putting a lot of pressure to either beat Houston at home or beat App State to not start 0-6, which is a cataclysmic type thought. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. You're right. I think that's if I am looking at this and trying to find positive, Brendan, it is the fact that the back end of this schedule is nowhere near as tough as the front end. I mean, you and I talked about it last week. I thought they were going to lose that game to Cal because I thought Cal is a good team, right? And they ended up losing it. Fresno State felt like a toss-up game, and they let it slip away. But the end of that schedule, I mean, the Washington State's good, not great. Sam Houston's gettable. They just lost to my Hawaii Rainbow Warriors and their backup quarterback, right? Like you said, Tulsa, Lafayette. So there's wins there. But you still got to right the ship, because if you don't right the ship, then those wins turn into losses and things get worse before they get better.
Oh, 100%. And Chris, unfortunately, this is nothing I'm a stranger to, right? I've been on this beat since 2014, and and obviously was a fan before then. But I've seen what the tough seasons look like. I've seen the signs, and when you see players be frustrated, and we saw players frustrated post game. It's really, like I said, I think it's really going to be a test to this leadership of the team, the leadership of this coaching staff. And I think we're really going to find out, like, is Trent Bray the guy? Like, how they respond after this start, the rest of this season, I think is going to say a lot about this team's character.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, and I know Trent Bray's making the rounds because the expletives that were dropped in the halftime interview, and he did another expletive last week as well. And I'm not going to be the guy who says, oh my gosh, that's terrible. Carry yourself with some sense of decorum. It's obvious that there's passion in that coach, right? He does not like what's going on. He wants this thing to win. And, I would hope that he can turn it around, Brendan. And I think to do that is just like, he's going to do is we got to do it too. And you can't just focus on the negative. You got to find some positives in there too. So when you look at these 2 weeks, there has been a lot of negative, but is there anything you can look at and say, this is a positive? This is something we can hook our hat on and we can move forward with?
Oh yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, you can definitely nitpick, and it's a couple of things we've written over at Beaver's Edge recently, just talking about like, for example, I think Oregon State's secondary by the end of the year with the things they're showing with their young guys, Trey Glasper, Jaleel Tucker, alongside a couple veterans in that back end at safety. I think once that gets dialed in, I think that could be a solid unit on this team. I think other areas on defense, particularly pass rush, have a long way to go, but I would just kind of circle the advanced numbers. PFF stats have looked good for Oregon State's defensive backs really since those first kind of opening touchdowns against Cal, where they kind of got burned over the top. Pretty much since then, the numbers have been pretty solid. And then offensively, I was talking to you last week, Chris, and I'll admit to some criticism myself. I definitely had a lot of questions about offensive coordinator Ryan Gunderson after that first week against Cal. And after this week against Fresno, I retract. I think Oregon State's offense, you're talking about 500 yards of total offense. Malik Murphy looked pretty good, minus, the interception, at the end that kind of put it away when they were sitting back in coverage. Anthony Hankerson had, a big day on the ground. The Beavers had a second receiver, and Taz Reddick's finally show up. So I think that's where it's really frustrating that Oregon State, on offense and defense put together a winning performance, and then the special teams put them so far behind the 8 ball. I think that has the tendency to really, cause just frustration, borderline anger up and down a locker room for sure. And, it's, you kind of just got to get through that. But I think for the most part, yeah, there are still some positives to glean from this team. If they could just get a few things tightened up, I could still see them pushing for 6 wins. I'm not jumping off the cliff yet, so to speak. But, they do need to tighten up some things, and it's going to be really hard when the next 2 weeks, you're probably going to have a couple lopsided results.
Yeah, absolutely. Brendan Slaughter of Beaver's Edge, and of course, Rip City Radio joining us right now. Make sure you go find his stuff over there at Beaver's Edge, because he is grinding, making sure he's getting you all the content, win or lose. Now, Brendan, you just mentioned Malik Murphy, and I do want to talk about him for a second. Obviously, the prized get in the portal for Oregon State, a lot of high hopes for him. People hoping that he could be better than the Bengal Bransons and DJ Uyungleleles and all that. And when you come out of the gates and you struggle, you always look at the quarterback, but you look at his numbers, 52 of 81 on the year, completing 65% of his passes, 600 yards passing, 3 interceptions, which is a pretty good ratio for him right now. That seems like a lot. But I feel like there's something there. It's a matter of what can you get to really get him to click. Because if I look at social, a lot of people think he's the problem. Because, again, you're the quarterback. You're the best player in the world when you're winning.
Sure.
You're the worst one when you're losing. But I don't think I've seen a lot from him that makes me worried about him. I think he can still turn the corner and lead this team to a couple of those dubs you talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I've liked what I've seen from Malik. Again, just kind of taking out that Cal game because it was such a weird, like, aberration as far as, like, all 3 phases not playing well. And then you look this week, again, say what you will about a few execution. There were obviously some false starts. There were some rough penalties on offense that hurt them even more. But like I said, I still don't think you can scoff at 500 yards of total offense for the offense. That's a big step up from where they were the week prior. And most importantly, Malik Murphy has now developed chemistry with somebody not named Trent Walker, which was extremely big for the Beavers just moving forward. So Taz Reddick showed some things. Malik showed that he can be that kind of quarterback that can make the throws. I mean, say what you will about, him still maybe finding the chemistry, finding his exact groove. I know he was working on some things in between Cal and Fresno and why we saw some improved play. But, I mean, Chris, there have been, I want to say, probably 4 to 5 times over the 2 games that I've sat in the press box at Reser Stadium where I looked at either one of my coworkers and I was like, Oregon State did not have a quarterback on the roster last year who could make that throw. So baseline, you have improved the quarterback position. And I think Malik Murphy is on the same level as DJU. Did DJU probably have a better team and a better, more cohesive coaching staff around him in 2023? Absolutely. But, that's if, it's just kind of different circumstances, different situation, apples and oranges. So I do think that, Malik is looked good. I think, once they can dial in, some of the aspects of the team. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if Malik has some good moments against Texas Tech and Oregon, and maybe they're even able to score. It's just on the other side of the ball, the kind of lack of a pass rush has really kind of been what's been Oregon State's Achilles defensive heel, and then obviously special teams has been, well, maybe the worst in America right now.
Well, I'm telling you, Brendan, that game at Oregon might be the most important game of the season, because even if you lose it, you don't even understand how much you have on the line, because as long as you don't lose 69-3, you can lay claim as to the best OSU to play at Oregon this year, because boy, howdy did the Cowboys look like one of the worst teams on the planet.
Oh, touche, Chris, touche. No, I was, it's funny you say that, because we were keeping tabs in the press box. We're like, oh, I wonder how things are going down in Eugene. I think it was like 28 something, 35 something, 40 something. We're like, woo! And that one was over quick. Yeah, I can say the magic of the mullet was not working down in Eugene, and Oregon, they look like a freight train rolling downhill right now. And I'm very curious to kind of see, if Oregon State can even be in kind of the same realm. Like I said, Oregon State comes in as a 24.5-point dog to Texas Tech.
Yeah.
I think, there were a lot of fans, Chris, that were like, what can Oregon State fans reasonably expect the next 2 weeks? And I'm like, competition, being competitive, not getting blown out. I mean, I think that would be the best things you could look forward to the next week, is trying to show some fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And you said you guys kept looking up and you're like, oh, they scored again. I sent out a tweet. I know you're not looking for my game day tweets because they're going to be duck ones. But this is going to blow your mind real quick, okay? Oklahoma's only scoring drive of the game, Brendan, was 16 plays and lasted 7 minutes and 56 seconds, resulting in a field goal, right? An 8-minute drive. Oregon's first 5 touchdown drives were 17 plays and 7 minutes and 57 seconds. One more play, one more second of possession, and they had 5 touchdowns to Oklahoma State's 3 points.
Ooh, I mean, again, I saw somebody throw out there that this was like reminiscent of the prime Chip Kelly days, if not more. And they look back at some of the great blowouts, of those kind of 2009, 10, 11, years. And when I go back to a couple weeks ago, like Chris said, I can't say I always have my ears tuned up to Oregon related things being over at Beaver's Edge, but there was a couple weeks ago when somebody threw out there that, Dan Lanning thought this was maybe his best team that he had at Oregon. It's looking that way early. It's early, but they're looking like a mighty fine team right now.
Absolutely. And I'm glad Oregon State's going on the road, because, man, that's what can bring teams together when they need it. Forced to be in the buses, the hotels, all that. And hopefully, maybe they pull an upset, but at least show a competent football game, and I think Beaver fans will be excited. Brendan, thanks as always. You guys follow him over there at beaversedge.com, and I'm sure listen to him here on the Rip City Radio. Oh, yeah, and Brendan, he's got a new Blazer show, too, coming up this season, so he's getting good on that. I'm excited for that. Brendan, hey, we'll talk to you next time, bud.
Appreciate it, Chris. Thanks, man.
All right, we're going to continue here. When we come back, we're going to go to the East Coast for a minute. We're going to talk about some crazy things happening at the old North Carolina. Bill Belichick, the GOAT. Oh, my gosh. He's just a laughingstock, let me tell you what. Chris Burkhardt here. This is the Rip City Drive, and your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio, 620. Welcome back to the Rip City Drive. Chris Burkhardt here with you today, filling in for Chad Doing. He'll be back tomorrow. Sometimes it's nice to be the boss.
Sometimes.
I was like, how come a random Monday? I was like, hey, thanks for giving me the first Monday after football.
Yeah,
but
right. It's the best Monday.
what are you doing? He's like, he was like, didn't want to tell me, didn't want me to be jealous, but he's like, yeah, I'm going to the Bronco game.
Okay, well, that's cool.
Jerk.
You know who else is at the Bronco game? Our good friend of the show, Jamie.
Our good friend. Hey, make sure my computer's on, Michael Shacker. Okay. Our good friend, Jamie Friedlander.
Oh! That's a context that people don't have right there.
He had to pay up on a bet, and
I can tell you what the bet was. Even I remember.
What was it?
It was on our podcast. We did our preseason rankings of the teams, and he thought I was absolutely insane for thinking that Illinois was going to be a good team. He thought I was insane, and so he said, if they make a bowl game, I get to slap him. They made a bowl game in their first 7 games, so I got to slap him on air.
Oh!
It was a beautiful day. It was a beautiful day for me.
Not only did they make a bowl game, it was just right out the gate, no doubt about it. That's awesome.
Game 1, he texts me. Game 1, week 1, he goes, "Oh man, I'm getting slapped."
No, that's too good. That's too good. I know. Hey, you guys need to get the podcast rolling, so you all come in here on alumni band week and record another episode.
I know we do. We do got to get. Just life's been changing. I've had to move my desk a couple times.
Move your desk. Man, I saw you guys put out the stuff for the alumni band get together. I'm like, oh, it's like a little earlier this year. At least it felt like it. I don't know. I'm gonna look at my calendar and I'm like, oh, dude, no Blazer game, no. Oh, it's my daughter's birthday weekend. That's her birthday. Oh, and there is a Blazer game the night. Darn it! I want to go, but I can never go.
One of these years, I'll contact you before we set the date.
Oh, I'm sure. Let's schedule around Burkhardt.
We'll
so
schedule
he can
around
come.
Chris Burkhardt so he can come to the reunion.
Oh, come on. There's only 4 people who are excited that they can schedule me in, and that's my 3 daughters and my wife. No one else is worried about scheduling around me. Okay.
I am.
Well, you're a nice guy.
Call it 5.
You're a nice
Call
guy.
it 5, Chris.
Call it 5. 5.5. I'll throw Jamie in there. Okay. Now, you and I, we were talking about this absolute craziness going on. Like, what do you do if you're Bill Belichick? You're gonna soil your reputation here down there in North Carolina. You come out week 1, everyone's hyped. You see that he went in. He's like, yep, don't like this turf. We're tearing that out, putting the grass back in. You go out week 1, you get absolutely decimated. It's the worst loss of his coaching career, his first game at UNC. Now they bounce back in week 2, but it's still Vibe City is off.
Yeah, they bounced back, but against Charlotte.
Right.
And it's not even the Charlotte team of last year. That was a pretty decent
team.
To
be fair, he was confused. He thought he was playing the actual 49ers, so he got jazzed up a little bit.
Okay. That's fair.
Oh,
that's
49ers,
fair.
Kyle Shanahan's down here. This is going to be a good game, Jordan. What do you think? Gosh, man.
Wow, Jordan, what should we run for the first 6 plays?
So he bounces back, but then you see this nonsense he's not letting Patriot staff at their facilities. Like the scouts aren't coming. And he was asked about it, and he's like, "Oh well, I'm not allowed in their facilities, so why should you be allowed in mine?" Dude, that's not how college works. Anybody represent any of those NFL teams wants to come in, they're in because they are going to get your guys to the next level.
Yeah. If I'm a recruit, I'm putting myself in the recruit shoes right here. Probably a little bit bigger than my shoes, but I'm putting myself in their shoes.
Hey, you can stop Aaron Darnold 1 out of 10 times.
1 out of 10 times. Maybe not anymore. I got my knees are giving out, man. But putting myself in the recruit shoes. I'm looking at that going, okay, so that gives me 31 teams I can go in. You're cutting my chance to get to the NFL because these guys aren't going to be watching me because they're going to be, Bill Belichick won't let me in the office, so I can't talk to this guy. I can't do some advanced scouting on him. Like I'm immediately, if I'm a 5-star too, I'm like, no, dude, I'm not going to let you cut my chances of going to the NFL. Put me in anywhere else. And I'm getting that exposure.
Yeah. Imagine New England is in the market for a quarterback. They have a top 3 pick and UNC has one of the best quarterbacks in the country.
Drake May.
Yeah,
He's there now.
exactly, exactly. And then he's like, Patriots, you're not allowed at our pro day. What?
What?
Like, it's weird.
Yeah,
it's just weird behavior. Man.
Here's the thing about this whole hire. As soon as they hired him, I said, that's terrible. It's an awful move. Bill Belichick, undoubtedly one of the GOATs in the NFL for coaching. Undoubtedly.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But that skill, we've seen it over and over. The skills in the NFL do not translate to college, and a lot of times it doesn't translate the other way as well.
Right.
And Bill Belichick is so NFL coded in his coaching style, his techniques, the way he operates things. I knew immediately this is not going to be a good situation. I think he's here a year max, right? I think he doesn't want to do the recruiting, right? I mean,
would you? If you're him?
I mean, if I'm him, no. I've already made my money. I'm considered one of the greatest of all time. Like, I wouldn't have taken this job to begin with because I feel like you can only tarnish your legacy.
Yeah.
At this point. But yeah, I from the beginning, I was like, what is this move? I just never understood the thinking behind this, except for we have Bill Belichick. Come here, recruits.
Yeah, but you do know the reasoning behind it is when this stuff gets soiled early on, and he's like, you know what, I'm just not into it. We're 1-5, and this just isn't for me. Guess what? My son's head coach now. Boom, got you a job, buddy.
Yeah,
Don't say Dad never did anything for you. That's why I
got
brought you
retired
into
for
my
health
staff.
reasons.
Yeah, right. Like, gosh, man, it's people always get mad at nepotism. I'm like, well, I mean, if I could get my daughter a job, I'd probably do it.
yeah, of course.
Oh, dude, Chris's daughter's only on radio because her dad's in radio. I'm like, yeah, I worked my ass off to give her get in the door.
Also, that means she's been around it for
I'm
decades.
give her a leg
You know.
up. The worst part about it, though, is see, I'm a little more selfish. I could never let my children do radio because I'm pretty sure they'd be better than me at it at the end of the day. And Dad's got to have something against them, right?
Well, what they just created a saying today, right?
what was it? Yeet it and complete it.
Yeet it and complete it.
Apparently, they were talking about like how to get through a video game stage or something, and my daughter's like, "You just got to yeet it and complete it."
Now, tell me that's not the next booyah.
Right? Booyah. I was like, I don't know. It's hit it and quit it's what it sounds like. It's not very appropriate, but yeah, yeet it and complete it. Like the things that go through kids' brains crack me up, man. Yeet it and complete it. That's just too funny. That's just too funny. But anyway, man, we still got plenty of sports talk to get to here on the Rip City Drive. We're going to take a break here in a second. And when we come back, we're going to dive in. Okay? We're going to dive in. We had to give the Beavers their due. I had to give my friend Brendan a little bit of mic time. But we're going to talk about the thing that I know Eli has been waiting the whole time. He's like,
Yes,
Burkhart, let's do this. What are we doing?
Come on, man.
We're going to talk about that Duck game because holy smokes, the Ducks are a top 5 team right now, and it feels like no one's talking about them. It's weird, and we're going to tell you why because, boy, howdy, they are dominant. This is the Rip City Drive on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Good afternoon. It is 4 o'clock here in the Rose City. Plenty of sports to get to as it was football weekend all weekend. Our first Saturday, Sunday college football NFL slate. Oh, and it was glorious. First off, down in Eugene, your University of Oregon Ducks clobbered Oklahoma State 69-3. And in the latest AP poll, jumped up to number 4 in the country. Not as nice for our friends in Corvallis, though, as the Beavers fell to Fresno State 36-27 and are now 0-2 to start the season. Doesn't get any easier as they hit the road to take on Texas Tech in the NFL. You saw the Chargers beat the Chiefs on Friday, a barn burner between the Ravens and the Bills. And then tonight, the first Monday night football of the seasons, it is the Vikings at the Bears. Hour 2 of the drive starts now. Welcome back into the Rib City Drive. Chris Burkhart here with you, filling in for Chad Doing today. He'll be back with you tomorrow, joined today by my friend Eli Johnson of the Oregon Marching Band and Oregon Marching Band Drum Major Fraternity. I just got to keep throwing it out
It's
there.
an exclusive club.
It's a pretty good feather in the cap, let me tell you
really
what.
is. People think it's really cool when I tell them that.
You know what made me happy, and my wife picked on me for this? I was watching the game over the weekend, and a player runs into the corner of the end zone, gets pushed, and I see the ladder, and they're green. And I was
finally.
like, no. I was like, oh, they're still green.
Oh, well, okay. So when I was there, they were yellow still.
Well, you had the big yellow one.
You had okay.
You had the big yellow one. The main drum major one's yellow. The side ones used to be orange.
Okay, that's
until
what it was,
somebody decided to paint them.
Was that you?
That was me.
See, I kind of remember them being orange when I was there.
They weren't. They were still green. I know.
Well,
I know.
I don't have a good memory.
When things happen that I did, it makes me feel special.
I know that they repaint them now every year.
Good. They need to. But
Yeah.
I also laughed because I went to Dr. Wiltshire and I'm like, hey, if we paint these ladders, and he's like, why? I'm like,
Because they're orange.
they should be green. He's like, oh, yeah, okay. So we went down to like Ace or what it was, grabbed some spray paint, and we painted the ladders.
That's wonderful.
You know?
Well, I have the same kind of thing except for less paint. But for those of you who don't know who are listening, which is probably most of you, because most of you are probably not band nerds like Chris and I. But when you're in the band and you're playing your songs, you have these little motions that you do. You'll see them on TV. If you haven't, just watch college football. You'll see them swinging their saxophones around, clapping different ways, yada, yada, yada. Every time I go back, I see things that a good friend of mine, Porsche, and I would we implemented as the movements for the saxophone players. And I still see them to this day. I'm like, dang, that's me. That's me, man.
That's good, right? You
Yeah,
left an impression.
Yeah.
I still think of you and Cameron, and anytime I hear "Crazy in Love."
I appreciate that. And I they don't do the dance anymore. Apparently they did it for like a few years after we were gone, and they don't do it anymore.
Oh my gosh, you can go back and type in like any Duck game on YouTube. I can't remember which one. There's one of them where you did the pep rally the night before.
Yeah,
and you guys were
it was
on
game
ESPN
day.
game day doing the
doing our little dance that we did. It wasn't really a dance. Let's be real. It was just shaking our butts on TV.
Hey, you got it. Hey, but it worked.
That's how you make the money. You gotta
That's how
shake your
you
butt
make
on
the
TV,
money.
man.
You gotta do it. You gotta do it. But oh man, those were the days, man. People that understand those marching band
They were
days
fun, man.
Those are pretty fun. It was awesome. I always loved my favorite parts were like I was a band geek, right? In high school, all 4 years marching band, like many of us did. But I was an athlete too, right? And sports are my passion. I did band because my whole family did. I was good at it. I enjoyed it, but like I wasn't like eat, breathe, sleep music. Like some band kids are. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing
Because
wrong
I
with
eat, breathe, sleep sports, right?
Yeah.
And I like other things. So there's nothing wrong with that. But it did always warm my heart when you're at a game and you're up in the section, whatever it was, you're doing your conducting, you're talking to the trumpets, the whatever, and you are analyzing football, and they have no idea what you're talking about because they are a band geek through and through. They don't know sports. Because I remember one time they're playing Boise State, and I called the touchdown before it happened, right? I watched the quarterback call an audible. I watched the defense get confused. I watched a linebacker run out and get the wide receiver man defense. And I looked at everyone and go, touchdown, number 18 or whatever the quarterback was, or the wide receiver was. Sure as hell, the hot route was a streak, and he just snapped that ball and threw it up, and he blew past the linebacker, and it was an easy touch. They're all like, how'd you know? I'm like, how did you not?
Yeah. It's also great when you get to the point where people look at you when they get confused.
Yeah.
Right? Because I come from a little bit of a different background. I was in band in high school, but I never did pep band. No,
okay.
I never marched in my life before Oregon.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
Not once. And but I was in band, but I mostly did sports throughout high school. And so I came into the band as like, this is my way to be at football games. Right. And then, I mean, obviously I fell in love with marching band and like the people, and it was a lot of fun. But like my freshman year, I didn't really care about band at all. I just wanted to go to the football games. And I was like, I can go there. And like I can go to the bowl games for free, and I actually get paid to do it.
That's so funny.
And so being in the band, and like it was like for me, it was always like I'm watching football, man, and I'll play second, you know. But I got to the point where, you know, something would happen on the field and it'd be a little bit confusing, and I'd have 7 people turn to me and go, "What just happened?"
Yes.
And it made me feel good. You know, I was like, hey, man, like I'm a well-rounded person here. You know, we were talking about the Renaissance man earlier, you know?
Yeah. You know how as you get older, I'm sure you heard, you know, your family do it too. Oh, well, back in my day, or you guys don't know how good we used to have it. We're getting to that point.
Oh, yeah.
But these are things that are legit. Like you don't know how good we used to have it. Because these kids nowadays, they don't get a Oregon State flag football game no more like we used to.
That was so fun.
That was the best.
That's how I tore my ACL.
I think I sprained my MCL in it. I couldn't walk for like 2 months.
I played 7 years of full contact football. Worst thing I ever had was a dislocated finger. I played 3 years of flag football and marching band, tear an ACL. Crazy.
But did you win?
Most of the time.
I mean,
we lost 1 year and we tied 1 year.
That's worth it.
Yeah. We tied because the sun went down. We would have won. But
what's that scar on your knee, Uncle Eli? Well, let me tell you about this time.
Flag
Flag football at Autzen Stadium.
Let me tell you about chasing the center fielder for the Oregon State baseball team that was also in the band, and we didn't know about him, and he was super fast.
He was very athletic. I remember.
And I tried to catch him one time, and it tore my ACL to shreds.
Yeah, he was athletic. Good for him.
It was
good for him. But those were the days, man.
It was fun.
Those were the days.
You know, I still look back on them fondly.
Yeah.
You know, I'm on the board of directors for the alumni band still.
Well, look at you.
I know, I'm pretty
So
fancy.
you do have the power to schedule around my schedule.
That's what I was saying, Chris. You got the guys here, man. Next year, it's my show. Jamie has to step down. It's me, buddy.
We'll work on this. We'll work on this. But the only reason I continue to talk about the band, for those of you still listening, is the fact that, I loved it. It was some of the greatest times I had there in college. Met some of my best friends throughout the year. I mean, the fact that Eli and I still text each other, record a podcast here now and then, I bring him in, even though we were in band, 14 years ago, almost 15 years ago.
God, we're old.
The fact that we still have the same fantasy football league that we had, that finally, for the first time in a decade and a half, lost a member.
I know. That's crazy to me. Like, we've had the same fantasy football league for 14 years. And finally, one person dropped out.
We still playing for the mini KJ?
I don't. You know, it's one thing I've always thought. Every year, I'm like, I should make a trophy for this league. We've been doing it long enough. I should make a trophy. And then every year, I go, that sounds like a lot of work.
And we can't do that. Trevor would win the very first one and go to his head.
I know. He wins all the time because he cares the most.
He does. He's texting me nonstop since draft day. Dude, so like, what will it take to get Justin Herbert? Like,
okay, this guy's insane. Last year, he tried to trade me consistently Lamar Jackson for Zach Charbonnet. Now, I'm not gonna diss Charbonnet. He's a great running back for the Seattle Seahawks. Lamar Jackson, dude, he's like, you don't have a shot at playoffs. I'm like, he's my only thing that I have going on my team this year.
Right?
Like,
no. Yeah, he would do that to me too. and he will get mad. You cannot make a trade where you come out on top.
No.
Or even. He has to win it.
He has to win.
Like, he texted me when he wanted Herbert. He's like, I'm even okay with coming out on the losing end of this trade if you give me Herbert. Like,
no way.
He texted that to me. And then I looked at his roster. I'm like, no, because the only way I'm doing that, you're going to say, no, I'm not giving away Bryce Hall, my third string running back. I won't give him away.
Yeah, no, that changes my whole season.
Yeah, he's wild. He's wild. I'm going to pull all these clips and send them to him. Oh, my gosh.
Do it.
Yeah, those high notes that he plays still live in my nightmares. Again, since we got sidetracked, though, the reason we bring it up, so we were both marching band guys. We love the Oregon Ducks. And
Love
what was
them.
not to love on Saturday? We'll talk about for a minute. We'll do a deep dive here in the next segment, too. But, I mean, when they came in and Mike Gundy gave you the whole, they're making $107 billion a year or whatever number it was that he said.
Yeah.
Like, I understand what he was saying, right? When he said they were a $40 million a year roster, we're only paying $7 or what it is. He wasn't taking a shot at Oregon. He was using Oregon to make a statement to his boosters and his donors that, hey, to compete in the current landscape of college football, we need your wallets a little bit because Oregon has wallets and look how good they are, right? It was complimentary, but it still, Duck fans didn't like it.
It was complimentary, but it came off as complaining.
Yes, it did.
And it's just like, for me as a Duck fan, I got what he was saying, and I wasn't like irked by it, right? If I I didn't view it as like poster board material because I figured they'd take it the same way. It's just like, oh, he's just saying what's true is that Oregon is investing a lot more in their football program right now than Oklahoma State is.
Right.
But to say just throwing out that number specifically to Oregon, which is by all accounts patently false. And then also just I don't know. It's just like calling out Oregon specifically the week before you play them.
Yeah. And here's the thing. For better or worse, like I love Dan Lanning. It's going to take a lot just because there's good memories, but like he is approaching Chip Kelly status for me.
Absolutely.
I love Chip Kelly.
Yeah.
I still tell people at my house right now, I have a cat named Chip and a dog named Kelly. That's because I love Chip Kelly, right? But Dan Lanning's up there. Like he's been phenomenal. But for better or for worse, I don't know if I have seen, at least in Oregon history, a coach who is more of a bulletin board material type coach, right? You saw it last year or 2 years ago with the whole, they're playing for clicks, we're playing for wins.
Yeah.
Right? He's taking those. He is that guy. And you handed him bulletin board material.
Just on a platter.
And after the game, he's like, we don't need that external motivation, but, it's never smart to put gasoline on the fire, which means he bulletin board materialed that.
Yeah. That means he started that fire.
Yes. He's like, I was just here making some delicious hot smos. That's right. That's a Toy Story reference for all you youngins out there. Come on, Buzz Lightyear. Delicious hot smos. S'mores, Buzz.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
God, you're too old for this game.
I'm too old for this.
Even though it came out. Shout out to our producer, by the way. See what he's playing?
Oh, yeah.
The Beefy
Crazy
Man
in
song.
Love. Give you a little dance here.
There we go.
Nobody. Luckily, this is on radio. Oh, there's a YouTube.
We're on YouTube. We're watching you. Yeah. But yeah, anyway, he was just there making some s'mores. And here come Mike Gundy with the gasoline.
Light fireball,
Filled the jet fuel for the plane ride back to Oklahoma, though. I'll tell you that much. All right, we're going to dive deeper into this game, though, because outside of the joking for Gundy, there is so much to like about this Oregon team right now. Some things that I can honestly say I have not seen from this team as long as I've been watching them. We'll tell you about them when we return here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Do you have college football 26? No. 2-year rule? Okay. The 2-year rule is okay, Eli. I'll allow that. The only reason I ask is because I was playing it and it was third down and the video game started playing Schools Out and I lost my mind.
That's great. That's great.
I lost my mind. It was pretty cool.
I mean, it's great and also traumatizing at the same time.
It was cool. But if you're in the red zone, they play, stick it in, stick it in.
Do they really?
Yes. But
Man.
we got to take it up with our boy Torsten, right? Who works over there at EA. Because he was the one who's like, just wait till you get into a goal to go situation. I'm like, no way. And I get there and they play it, but at like half tempo. Boom,
No.
Boom, 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 boom. Oh, stop it.
Torsten, if you're listening, get it together.
Fix it. Fix it. Oh, and guess what? Hawaii plays on a turf field, so can you get rid of the mud stains when I have a home game? God, I need to be a video game developer. All right. Speaking of turf stains or mud stains on our uniform, the Ducks uniforms that they wore on Saturday, they could probably wear them this weekend without have had to send them to getting dry cleaned because there was no stains on them. I don't think any Duck player even touched the turf or sweated on Saturday.
I was going to say there's no sweat there either.
Exactly. As they just absolutely decimated Oklahoma State. And we can go over and we can look at the offensive numbers all day long, Eli, all day long.
And I will.
Yeah, and you should. Dante Moore, I think, is looking very, very good. The running backs are looking good. More on that in a second. But you can sit there and go, oh, 266 yards for Dante Moore, 90 yards for Noah Whittington, and a touchdown. Everything looked good. I don't care about any of that because through 2 weeks, the most impressive thing about this team is something that does not show up on any box score. And holy hell,
Can I guess?
It the
downfield blocking.
The downfield blocking. The running backs and the wide receivers and the tight ends sealing off the edges, closing the gaps, and just giving people with the ball room to run. Kenyon Sadiq is playing himself into being a top NFL pick because of his downfield blockings. DeCarrion Moore has been absolutely phenomenal in that aspect too. And this is all the stuff that you don't see. And it just leads to me to believe that this team is for real because I think you can look at what you're seeing right now and even compare it to last year. And I text you guys this as much. Like, they're playing at a level of physicality that I don't think I saw last year. They were big, they were powerful, they were physical, but right now they are just punching people in the mouth. And when you are getting skill positions, right? We have talked all the time about wide receivers being the biggest divas on the planet, right? Give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball. Yet they're getting more hyped right now for their downfield blocks than they are catching a touchdown. Like you saw the touchdown the other day when DeCarrion Moore and everyone, they have that block. Like, oh, score a touchdown, go right to the guy who made the block and dap him up because the block was amazing. Yeah. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, well, and I think it speaks to two things, truly. Is one, Dan Lanning's coaching ability to get these guys sold and really feeding into the hit the block, get the rock mentality. Mm-hmm. Right? If you're blocking downfield, you saw it with, I think, McClellan, a back-to-back plays. He gets a pancake block that busts a run for 20 yards. And the next play, they're feeding him the rock, And then two, the buy-in. Right. And this is something it's really hard to do, especially with like a skill position like wide receiver, to really buy in and just sell out to make a block. It's not sexy. It's not cool. You're not going to make Sports Center top 10 with it. It's not a one-handed catch in the back of the end zone. But it's what sets teams apart is that effort to make that extra move and that extra effort to bust somebody else unselfishly. And that's when you get amazing teams, great teams.
Well, it's because, again, you're playing for the common goal. You're playing team ball at that point.
Yeah.
And last year when you watch, Ohio State match up with you and you see, what happens in the Rose Bowl and you cry about it because it hurts. But you sit there and it's like, we all knew going into that playoff that was the buzzsaw, was Ohio State. And they were doing what Oregon's done through 2 games right now. And that was just out physicaling everybody. Right. And they got
Michigan.
Yeah. Right. But sometimes you need to get irritated and you jump back into it. Right.
Yeah.
But right now they're playing at an extremely impressive level. And again, you look at guys like DeCarrion Moore, who's making the highlights, right? He's a freshman. Comes from being, hey, I was the best kid on my team in high school. Why did you? No, I just want to make downfield blocks and win football games, man.
Not only that, I mean, his route running's incredible. He's wide open half the time. He's got he scored twice in the game.
Yeah,
like he's not only making these downfield blocks, he's becoming an elite receiver at 18.
Yeah. Also, is Oregon on like a generational run here with the fact that at one point we had spelt different, but we had a Dixon who could throw to a Dixon. We had a Herbert who could throw to a Herbert, and now we have a Moore who can throw to a Moore.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's pretty good, right?
That's incredible.
That's right. Speaking of which, Ed Dixon. Ed Dixon is my personal favorite tight end in Oregon history.
Ed Dixon's my favorite Duck of all time.
Is he really?
Him and Patrick Chung.
Okay, my two favorite Ducks of all time are Patrick Chung and Haloti Ngata.
Fair.
And I will contend that I have never seen anyone play defense in person like Patrick Chung, because I've never seen a guy, no matter where he started on the field, wherever the ball ended, he was there. He was in on the hit. He was incredible.
Oh, he was amazing.
Also, he's going down this rabbit hole with people the other day, like, it's the most talented team Oregon's ever had. And there's a lot of talent. But, man, you look at the fact that, like, at one point you're saying, like, if you were a opposing quarterback, you're throwing at a defense that had, like, Patrick Chung and Walter Thurman and Jarris Bird and
TJ Ward.
Holy cannoli.
These are all contributors in the NFL for decades.
Filthy. Now, Haloti Ngata, that guy was unreal. And yes, Patrick Young. But Ed Dixon, so he's your favorite Duck of all time. Now, to me, he's my favorite tight end. And I think the only other one in the argument is Justin Peele. Justin Peele was absolutely phenomenal as well. But right now, Kenyon Sadiq, he is the best tight end I've seen since. Like, Pharaoh Brown had a good little run, and you had some guys like David Paulson and stuff who could catch the ball.
Like T-Ferg has been great.
Right. But like Ed Dixon was just all levels all the time.
Yeah.
Super physical.
He was definitely like a downfield blocker as well.
Yeah, and he had great hands. But Kenyon Sadiq's doing everything. He might be the most athletic dude on the team, and he's your tight end.
I don't even think might. I think at this point you can just say with gusto that he's the most athletic guy on the team. I mean, just spanning from last year's Penn State game where he hurdles that dude along the ends, that is just pure athlete, right? To watching him pancake people just for fun.
Yeah.
He's an unbelievable athlete. I think he's one of the fastest guys on the team.
Imagine if you could go back in the day of, the Dwight Clarks and the was it? Oh my gosh, I'm drawing a mind blank there. But anyway, you could go with Antonio Gates, even, right? Tony Gonzalez, right? Dude, you go down and you tell them one day you're gonna have a tight end who's hurdling people while pancaking people and is one of the fastest guys. What you meant? What, like a tight end?
Yeah, he lines up out wide half the time.
It's just
wild. You know who he reminds me of is Nick Harbor from South Carolina, the tight end. I think now he plays wide receiver full time.
Okay,
but he was recruited out of high school as a tight end. He's like He's the fastest guy in all the video games. He's a 99 speed in 25 at least.
Okay.
But he was recruited. It's the same body type, same athleticism. Like they're both track guys. Like they're very similar. And I mean, Nick Harbor's unbelievable in South Carolina.
Yeah. And I don't know why I drew a mind blank. It was Kellen Winslow was the name I was looking for. One of the old school great NFL tight ends. Just that's the name I went mind blank. But the point is, the athleticism from Kenyon Sadiq is incredible. And the other thing I want to talk about too, Eli. And again, I text you this because sometimes, the good thing about a group text is for the most part, it's a safe space. We'll call each other out, but it's a safe space for all our dumb takes.
Oh, yeah.
But I could sit here and quite honestly, I think it's a very, very fair question. Is this the deepest running back room Oregon's ever had? Now, don't get me wrong. They do not have the top end of some of those other ones. Like they don't have a Maurice Morris, Ontario Smith tandem, right? They don't have a Kenyon Barner, LaMichael James. They don't have a J. Stu, Jeremiah Johnson. There's not a Royce Freeman, any of that, right? But they have legit 5-6 guys they can put in and trust to carry that football and get it done well. Like you have seen those years where you had the top end talent, but then there was a drop off massively when you got to your third and your fourth deep on the roster. I don't feel that through 2 games.
I agree with you. And here's the thing: is I tried to prove you wrong on this.
That's good.
I went.
That's why it's a question.
Yes, I went and Googled this, and I went through rosters, essentially from 1990 to now.
Right.
Right. Because like before that, the Ducks weren't investing really in football, so it's like they're probably not there talent wise. The only one that I found, in my opinion, that comes close to the depth here. We're not talking about ceiling. I guess we're just talking about just straight floor.
Okay.
Here, is 2009.
Uh-huh.
Let me give this to you. LaMichael James, 6.7 yards a carry. Kenyon Barner, 6 yards a carry. Remine Alston, 4.4 yards a carry. LeGarrette Blunt, 3.7 yards a carry. Even Remine Alston, I already said Remine Alston. Andre Crenshaw. So he was at 3 yards a carry. You got like that was like 5-6 deep of guys you could trust with the ball
but,
too.
But
and
also,
they had LaMichael James at the top.
but also being there for that, like Andre Crenshaw and Remy Alston were good.
They were good.
They were good.
I was a Remine guy. I loved him. I
but
thought
there
he was so
a
good.
massive drop off from a LeGarrette and a LeMike and a Kenyon to a Remy Alston,
True.
who I liked. Don't get me wrong. I liked Andre Crenshaw too. You put a Duck uniform, I like you. Part of me even likes Alejandro Maldonado. Part of me.
No.
Yeah, because he wore a Duck uniform and I'll accept it. Can't be that mean to him.
I can't. Well, here's the thing. I would say I could be that mean to him, but I used to deliver FedEx. And
where's it going? Where's it going?
I used to deliver for FedEx, and I remember he lived in my area.
Okay.
During the season where he just kept messing everything up. I almost dropped a bomb for you there, but kept messing everything up. And I would get packages for him once a month, I would say.
Was it Kicking for Dummies? Or?
I wish that would have helped. Maybe new shoes. I don't know. But every time I just looked at it and go, should I just like punt this into his door? Like, I don't know, because I might be more accurate than he would be, but I never did. So maybe I do like him a little bit.
Yeah, see?
I also had Ashton Eat in my route. He was great.
See, I don't know if there's a Ducky I hate. Like, that's the point.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
Right.
What about like former Ducks? People have like transferred out.
Yeah.
What was his name? He went to Oregon State, running back, 5-star. Thomas Tyner. Although you were like a beat Oregon State guy for a while, so maybe you're a little less
like
on that.
Tyner. I mean, transferring out, I'd lose a little bit for you.
Yeah.
Transferring in, you wanted to end your career here. I like that.
I like that. What about of course Travis Dye going to USC?
Yeah, I lost a little bit.
Yeah, I lost a little bit, but it's not a hate thing.
It's not a hate thing
because he wore a Duck uniform at one point. Okay,
so I'd still respect it. Like,
that's fair. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
All right.
That's all. That's that.
That's that.
But the point is, this thing's deep. Okay. No, Whittington's been great. I think Jade Lamar's been a good runner.
Jade Lamar has like really stepped up.
Yeah.
And, like last year he was good and he ran the ball like pretty infrequently, but he was good. And this year, like I feel like he's put on some mass.
Yeah.
And not lost a step, which
is good. And then I think obviously Mekhi Hughes just needs to get it going.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know exactly what's going on there. I had heard seen some reports. It was just maybe just trying to grasp the playbook a little bit. But he did have the 9 carries, which did lead the team in carries. So they're trying to find a way to get him in. But I mean, you look down. This team had 37 carries in that game for 312 yards. But quick math tells me 3, 6, 9, 12, including a couple quarterbacks. 12 different rushers.
That's crazy.
Including your tight end that we just talked about, Kenyon Sadiq, having a run too.
Yeah.
12 different rushers and 300 yards, this is a good thing because if this team can continue to keep that balance, when you start getting in those, playoff time or even at a Penn State, and you guys can hopefully stay healthy because you're just running through, you don't have to have a guy go in there and get 30 carries. It's going to be good for you. I think the biggest thing so far, my takeaway, and this is the kind of stuff that makes you love a player forever, is I'm going to be completely honest with you, is I have been completely shocked that Noah Whittington never entered the portal thus far. I just thought, okay, he's not getting the run. He's not getting the share of the carries. He's a good back. This just I'm going to go hit the portal, go somewhere I can play. And he hasn't. Dude's been working his tail off, earn in carries and has been incredible to start the season.
Yeah, see, I kind of felt the opposite. He's always felt like just an Oregon guy to me. So, like,
I like that.
I like that, yeah. But like, I mean, I feel like he's like the running back that Dan Lanning likes, right? A guy who runs with so much effort. Like, he may not be the most talented back on this roster, and probably isn't. Right? He's an incredible back. Don't get me wrong here. Don't get it twisted. He's an incredible back, but
Right.
he's probably not the most talented back on this roster. He may be, but
I think the most talented back on this roster, at least going in, if you ask me, is Mekhi Hughes.
yeah, exactly. But he runs with so much effort and determination. I mean, what game was it last year? It was at home. He had a run where he just like absolutely demolished the safety. Was that Oregon State?
I don't even remember.
I don't remember, but he
I
just
don't remember what happened an hour ago.
on the goal line. It was reminiscent of the Masoli Oregon State Roar for the Roses
those are
hit.
good. Yes.
You know, and just watching that, you're like, this guy just runs as hard as he can every single time. And I feel like that was the same thing with Bucky, and that's what made him such a great fit at Oregon. It's like it was just the effort that he put into every single play. So I'm not surprised he didn't go anywhere, because I think that's it's the kind of back that Lanning likes.
Yeah, I mean, I thought coming into the year that Hughes has a chance to be a better version of Bucky in the Oregon offense. It's not clicking thus far, but there's still plenty of time, and the jury's still out. Like, you don't know what you have yet as you continue to put it together.
Yeah.
But again, right now the balance is there, and the balance is wonderful.
Well, and there's also on the passing side of the ball too.
Yeah.
I mean, at one point there was 9 completions to 7 different receivers.
Yeah, he's spreading the ball around. He's being great. Dante Moore is. Novosad's come in, look good. Luke Moga can run. Like, you got threats, man. It's really good.
Deep team, man.
And I hate the whole argument against Dante too. Like, I hate when people are like, "Oh yeah, check down quarterback." Like, we didn't hear that for 2 years with Bo Nix. Oh, and everything's a drag route and blah blah. How much football do you watch? Because is every single play a 50-yard bomb down the field? No. Every single great quarterback hits those short routes. It's the bread and butter. Like, you go down last year, and it's like Pat Mahomes, who's like the GOAT. Everyone loves him. The average pass yards through the air was like 6 yards.
Yeah. Well, it's like they're not watching, because when you watch a guy like that, you have to watch him go through his progressions to get to that check down. If he's just going straight to the check down, sure. But if he's progress to the check down, that's good quarterback play.
Yeah, it's also what the guy's there for, right? He's your safety valve. Oh, why do we call that guy the safety valve? Because when everything else fails, go to your safety valve. God, come on. All right, this is the Rip City Drive. I am Chris Burkhardt, filling in for Chad Doing today. Going to take a quick little break. When we come back, plenty more football talk. We still haven't even talked NFL yet. That's how awesome the weekend was. And we got to get to it. All coming up next on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. Welcome back into the Rip City Drive. Chris Burkhart here with you, filling in for Chad Doing today. He'll be back with you tomorrow. He was enjoying some NFL football over the weekend, so I got my friend Eli to come in. It was so perfect timing, too, because he texted me. You're like, hey, I have a little bit of extra time on my hands, so if you ever get a chance to let me come in again, I'm totally down. I'm like, actually, since you mentioned it, I'm filling in hosting next week. You want to join? And you're like, yeah.
Here I am.
Here you are.
We're having a great time.
Well, that's what you and I do. We just have a good time together.
I mean, this is just us. This is like, for those of you listening right now, this isn't us on a radio show. This is just how Chris and I talk.
Yep, pretty much. Pretty much.
We just go down lists of old Oregon football players and just.
The funny part is like, so obviously, like, I have my own podcast that I try to do during the Blazer season that I started this year. I have another Blazer podcast, the Trailcasters, that my buddy hasn't recorded in like 2 years now because he's been busy, but it's still there. And then I had the Just Two Fans where I was a guest, and then I eventually just started jumping on because I had nothing better to do, and I miss you guys, right? Well, it's funny because my wife would be like, I'd be like, I have a podcast to record tonight. She's like, which one? And I always go, it's not Just Two Fans. It's not going to take 3 hours. We're okay. And she's like, okay.
It does take a long time.
Oh, she did. Like, Just Two Fans, like, I look at the clock. We're 2 hours in. I'm like, oh my God, we haven't even got to our picks for the week.
I know.
Like,
Well, that's what happens when you got three very opinionated people about sports going back and forth. And just the problem is we give Jamie a lot of space to talk. I think what we should do is just start cutting him off more.
but at the same time, if you go 3 hours once a week, I mean, we're going 3 hours today.
True.
And then there's another 3 hours for Chad tomorrow. And then another 3 hours on Wednesday.
That's a very good point.
So,
we're just, so maybe what you're saying is that we're actually, our 3 hour episodes are really condensed and just really tight, a tight 3 hours.
Absolutely. Now, I heard our friend Trevor was listening. He said, hey, will you bring up that I absolutely destroyed Chris in fantasy football this week? First off, he and I do have the greatest rivalry in fantasy football history. That's just a proven
well,
fact.
I contest that. Because there's one rivalry, and it's a very specific rivalry between Trevor and I. And that is every year after the draft, because somehow we're always the first week we play each other. And every year after the draft, Trevor goes, congrats on your free win for week one. And inevitably, I'm projected 30 to 40 more points than Trevor is. And I always lose.
Oh, man.
Every single time.
Well, he's beating me. We don't have any more players to play. Well, I do have the Vikings defense. So if they can make up, 36 points, 46 points, I'll win. I'm currently losing pretty bad, 91 to 56. And it's interesting. He's like, he wants to talk crap. Well, I didn't know that the number one pick, Jamar Chase, was going to get 2 points, or that Bo Nix was going to look like a rookie and give me 6. Come on. Calvin Ridley gave me 2. It was just a bad game all the way around.
Happens.
And I benched Justin Herbert. Learned my lesson. It is what it is.
I had one player over 10 points in that league.
By the way, Trevor has sent me a trade proposal. Tank Bigsby for Justin Herbert. Should I take this pick?
He sent me Tank Bigsby for Lamar. So
let's review and decline.
Live on air, Trevor's getting declined.
Live on air. No. That's exactly what I'm writing in the ad trade comments. No. Decline. Not even a counter, okay? But no, it is just it's fun. We have a lot of fun with that. Fantasy football is great because football is back, man. I love fantasy football. It gives me a reason to care about all these games. Otherwise, I'm not caring about how the Chargers do or how the Bengals do now that I got Jamar Chase. Like, I'll watch Justin Herbert and Bo Nix, obviously, but I don't really care about Jamar Chase. I know he's really good, but now they have him, I'm paying attention. And boy, let me tell you what, man, there was some games yesterday, Eli. They were all over the place. It was week 1, and that's for sure. But the 49ers, they did what I needed them to do. Went in, got a win in Seattle. Almost gave it away.
Best to lose.
Like, it's just Jake Moody can't kick a field goal. He's got the yips. Everything's terrible. Like, but they got the win. That's great. The game of the night was Baltimore and Buffalo, which that one was crazy when Baltimore punts the ball. Buffalo's returner lets it bounce thinking it's going to go into the end zone, I guess, despite the fact that it 100% didn't look like it. It bounces at the 5, loses all momentum. It's 100% going to stop dead on the 1-yard line until Baltimore's punt team runs down, slides into it, and touches the line for the touchback. Like, it was going to die on its own on the 1, and you had them pinned back, and then with 4 minutes left in the game, the Bills score 15 points, whoever it is, win the game. It's just like
unanswered.
Yeah, it's just boom,
on,
boom,
guys.
boom. It was a 15-point game, and I'm like, this game is over. I'm gonna go help my daughter fix her TV so she can have Netflix running in her bedroom because it was disconnected. I had to fix it, dad stuff. And I come back and I'm like, it's a 2-point game. What in the heck just happened?
Yeah, like I was checking my fantasy, right? Because again, you said that's what makes us care about the NFL.
Yeah.
As college football guys, I was checking my fantasy, and I looked down, and oh man, Josh really isn't having a great game. Then I check at the end of the day. Oh, okay, we're fine.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's the NFL. You never know what's going to happen. And you got to go all the way through. I mean, there was plenty of Bills fans who left that game. Oh, this one's over. As Yogi Berra, right? It ain't over till it's over. You got to stay there. You never know what's going to happen, man. It's like the Gibson home run, for the Dodgers. Like, crazy things can happen in these games that we love. You aren't out of it until you're out of it.
The worst feeling in the world, and I've experienced this a couple times, is and I've only ever experienced this in baseball. But when you leave a stadium and then as you're outside and you can no longer see what's happening on the field,
something good happens.
You hear the roar of a crowd. And you go, well, it's the worst feeling.
This is why I am team do not leave early. I don't care. I stay. I don't leave.
I've learned that lesson.
Except when I was at Oregon, I was an RA my sophomore year. And we had to do our RA training that first week, and that was the week that Oklahoma came to town. And of course, football game, they make you do RA training on a Saturday. So no one knows what's going on. We aren't paying attention to the game. We end our training. It's the fourth quarter. I watched that onside kick live from the Duck Store on campus. It's like, I didn't leave the stadium early, but I did watch it from the camp. It felt like it. Same thing you're talking about. But yeah, never leave early. I am team do not leave early.
Yeah, no, I am too. Now, I was watching the ESPN odds to win for the Oregon game, and at one point it was 62 to 3 near the end of the fourth quarter, and it said Oregon had a 99.8% chance to win. And I said, man, if that 0.2% happens, I at least got to watch it and be sad, but I got to watch it.
The only way they would have came back is if they were TCU. All right. This is the Rip City Drive. We're going to take another quick break. When we come back, more football talk, and head coach of your Oregon State Beavers, Trent Bray, joins the show at 5:20. This is the Rip City Drive on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, and that somewhere is here in the Rose City, here on the Rip City Drive. Plenty of sports to talk about because, man, we got football tonight. We had football yesterday. We had football Saturday. It's our first full college football NFL weekend, and gosh darn it, does it feel good. First off, in Eugene, the Ducks, they won on the back of $100 million roster. Just kidding. It was hard work and just physicality led them to a 69-3 victory over Oklahoma State. Just an absolute decimation of the Cowboys. I'm sure Gundy regrets those money comments he made about the Ducks. Up in Corvallis, the Beavers fell to Fresno State 36-27. They fall to 0-2 on the season. And it doesn't get easier as they hit the road now to take on Texas Tech and Oregon before returning home on the 26th to face the Houston Cougars. And with that victory over Oklahoma State in the latest AP polls, your Ducks now number 4. Hour 3 starts now. I'm going to show you how to live, friends. It's by watching football. It was so good to have a full slate of football. NFL, college, high schools in full swing here in the state of Oregon. Week 1 was on Friday, which was pretty awesome. My alma mater, the Centennial High School, they took down St. Helens. I think it was a 49-zip or something like that. Their first shutout since 2005, which would have been the season after I graduated. So that's a stretch of games right there. The Ducks led like I said, that game 69-3 against the Cowboys. They absolutely dominated that game. That could have been more, but then somebody let off the gas just a little bit there in the fourth quarter because there was no point. But I want to ask you, Eli, as you look through this. So the latest AP polls come out. Ohio State 1, Penn State 2, LSU coming in at 3, Oregon is 4, Miami 5, Georgia at 6. They fell 2 spots. Oregon jumped 2 spots. Texas at 7, Notre Dame 9, Notre Dame 8, Illinois 9, Florida State rounding out the top 10. 2 weeks in, it's never too early to drink the Kool-Aid and get excited here. But what are your thoughts on these rankings and just who's standing out to you early? You're way too early college football, playoff type talk here.
Yeah, no, way too early. Way too early. Oregon is standing out, but that is no surprise to anyone.
No. Except the rest of the world, apparently, because no one's talking about it.
This is so weird. I feel like for the number 4 team in the country, nobody's talking about Oregon.
Like I said this to you, but it's like you look at what Ohio State did. 70-0 is impressive.
Absolutely.
But it's Grambling State.
Yeah.
Right? And then you look at Alabama. It was, 63 or 70 to whatever it was. ULM, they absolutely dominated. Yeah, but it was ULM.
Yeah. And people are hyping up Miami. A lot of people are saying Carson Beck is best quarterback in football this year. Yada, yada, yada. And they won 45-3 against Bethune-Cookman.
Who?
Exactly. They're I don't know.
Yeah. And so I look at this game, and I get it. These teams, they get cupcakes on their schedule. But I don't care how bad your team is. And we have seen teams in the power conferences down bad before. But to give a 69-3 whooping of a power 4 team needs to be talked about.
And it's not. Because one of my like traditions I like to do on Sundays and Mondays is I like to check in with the news around and see winners, losers of the week. Not a single list I saw this week has Oregon as a winner, even though they absolutely crushed another Power 4 opponent.
Yeah, well, I also see some of those things continuing to point out that, the SEC is still proving that they're the conference to beat. What? Three of the top 4 teams currently reside in the Big 12 or Big 10, and you're talking about the SEC, as Eli would say, the SEC.
The SEC.
Yeah, like the Big 10 is just unreal right now.
Yeah, and here's the thing: the SEC has been riding the coattails of Alabama for 20 years. All right, yeah, you got LSU here and there, you got Georgia here and there. Largely, the past 20 years, Nick Saban is the reason the SEC has the clout it does. But I'm glad because that veneer is fading.
I think it's the Big 10.
I think
Big 10 is the best conference right now.
I think the Big 10 is not that close.
Like,
and of course, you have the SEC people because I saw an idea today. Somebody, I'm trying to remember who it was talking about. I think it was Outkick. They were talking about doing every year doing the SEC versus the Big 10 top to bottom, 1v1, 2v2, 3v3. He said in week 1, I think it's better towards the end of the season, but 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, all the way down, who wins. And of course, everyone's like, oh, SEC wins 15-1 or whatever. And you're like, no, not this year, my friend. I think heavily favoring Big 10 this year.
Yeah, I would agree. And I also think you look at at football, the SEC is what the SEC is, right? Like, we're going to pick on a little bit because everyone's tired of getting it shoved in your face, right? But they are good. I think it's weird that nobody is talking about Georgia. Like, Georgia is good. That is a good football team. Like LSU, they're there at 3, but that's a good football team too. Yeah. Texas takes 1 loss. It was on the road at Ohio State. It's a tough place to win week 1, for all intents and purposes of freshman quarterback, right? Yeah. Like, I know he's been there, but it's a lot different. Garbage time late in the season when your team's doing good versus starting the year at the shoe.
Absolutely.
Completely different ball game, right? But I think you look at things right now. I think the surprise, if current trends hold, which is, this might be the way too early, right? But the fact that you have Miami and Florida State in the top 10 and then Clemson right there at 12. I mean, this is a good start for the ACC right now. Outside of Stanford, who's terrible.
Ben Gulbranson, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah, they're realizing what happens when you have Ben Gulbranson.
They're realizing why he was third string in Oregon State.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think the ACC is a solid. Like, they got a lot of solid programs this year. Obviously, the surprise of the season being South Florida.
Yeah,
so far.
Go in. Hey, yeah, we're gonna take down Florida. A massive upset. Like, that's.
Yeah, but Florida.
But I thought I thought the SEC was the best thing since sliced bread.
It just means more, Chris.
It just means more.
It just
the game means
more
everything
to lose to University of South Florida.
Oh my gosh, block them.
But that loss is better than any win that you could get in the Big Ten. In the shoe on the road, doesn't matter. Lose to USF at home, that is a good loss.
Yeah, Chris. It is. It is. In the current landscape, I mean, you can afford to take those losses. It's not how you lose; it's how you rebound. But
that's true. You do have the whole season. But Lagway didn't look like he wanted to play a full season after that game.
Okay, let's play a game here.
I love games.
Let's play a game here of contender pretender, because I think there's some teams here who are pretenders.
Okay.
Right? So we're just going to go down the list. Ohio State.
Contender.
Big time. Penn State.
Contender.
LSU.
Hot take, maybe? Contender.
Ooh, okay. I was leaning for the P word.
I think after watching them, I kind of think they're one of the better teams in the SEC.
Okay.
I'm on board.
Okay, I like it.
And that's big for me because I am a certified Brian Kelly hater. I am a hater of Brian Kelly. I think they're pretty good this year. I think Nussmeier looks every bit as advertised.
Yeah, you and most of college football, my friend. Oregon,
contender.
They are a contender. Miami.
Coin flip. It's Mario Cristobal. They're gonna win some big games and they're gonna lose a really stupid game. Maybe 2.
The tough part about Miami is I know Oregon fan likes to dog him. Nobody likes the way he left. But I still have mad respect for Cristobal.
I do too.
I currently think that the current trajectory of Oregon football is not what it is without him. And quite honestly, probably not without Willie Taggart either, even though people hate on him.
100% agree with you on that. But that also means that we're very familiar with Mario Cristobal's MO.
Oh yeah,
and that is he's going to lose a really stupid game. So I'm going to say pretender.
yeah, and I would say this: I do think getting the win over Notre Dame was impressive, but you also watch the way that game played out, and like he didn't even realize Notre Dame had a timeout at the end.
Yeah, talk about bad clock
that
management.
was just like again clock management. It's wild. Georgia, are they still a contender? Or are they on the down?
I think they're pretenders.
Ooh,
I did not like the way they looked against Austin P. What was it? 28-6.
What is it with all these teams playing teams who have names of people? Like Bethune Cookman sounds like a starting small forward, right? Austin P sounds like a kicker.
Sounds like a law firm.
Yeah, right. Like, what is it? Like, goodness gracious, these are people, not teams.
Yeah, I didn't like the way Georgia looked. Gunnar Stockton, he looked okay. I mean, against Austin P, I would imagine you should look pretty dang good. He looked all right. I'm not sold.
Texas,
I'm starting to lean more contender. After I was all out on Arch Manning, but I think he's bounced back. We'll see. I'm leaning contender still. I think it's a bad start to the season, though.
he needed that game, but at the same time, if he is as good as they say he is, he should play like that against San Jose State.
Yes, absolutely.
Even though it pains me because I love Ken Niumatalolo.
Yes.
Island Pride, Poly Pride, baby. And that is a fun name to say. Oh, and that game last year, San Jose State, Washington State, that was cinema. Notre Dame.
Here, maybe this is a hot take. I'm going pretender, but I think they'll be in it because their schedule is patently easy.
No, that's Notre Dame for you.
Yeah.
I'm going pretender route. The big one, the surprise, the team that led to this. Oh, Illinois coming in at number 9. What a spot for them. What they've been doing the last few years that's incredible. It's building the program.
Bielema's there, man. He's doing his thing. Again, Trevor, if you're still listening, you were wrong about Trevor sent me, I think, a 3-paragraph text one time about how bad of a coach Brett Bielema is. So take that, Trevor. I'm going contender because I roll with the Fighting Illini.
Okay, now we're getting into the nitty gritty here. This is where it gets interesting. Florida State.
This one's tough. I want to say contender. I think they've looked really good, but I'm also kind of out on Alabama this year.
Mm-hmm.
And then how do you really judge a team against East Texas A&M? After last year, it's really hard for me to be like contender, so I'm gonna lean pretender here.
I think they're going to be in the run for the ACC, but I don't think they're going to be a true threat to win come CFP time.
Yeah.
All right. South Carolina, they're way out. We don't even have to waste time on that. They're not getting through the SEC. Sorry. I think this is where you get into 2 wild cards for me, though, before we break. Clemson and Oklahoma. I think those are 2 wild card teams. I don't know if they're pretenders. I don't know if they're contenders.
Mateer looks amazing.
But anything could happen. Oklahoma.
Also, I'm all in on South Carolina still.
You are?
I'll say it, man. Lenore Sellers is my guy.
I'm not, but I would love for them to get through the SEC. That would be. Don't be Georgia. Don't be LSU. Don't be Bama. Be someone crazy like South Carolina, or heck, give what every college football fan wants. Give me a Tennessee SEC championship. That'd be wonderful. All right, the music means we have to take a quick break, but don't go anywhere because when we come back, we'll have Oregon State head coach Trent Bray going to get his thoughts on what happened at Reeser on Saturday and see how the Beavers can rebound as they head down to Tortilla Town, a.k.a. Texas Tech. This is the Rip City Drive, and you're home of the Blazers. Rip City Radio, 620. Welcome back into the Rip City Drive. Chris Burkhardt here, filling in for Chad Doing today. And as we've been talking about, it's been a wonderful week for football fans. We had college football, we had the NFL, we've had all of it. It's great, but some teams win, and sometimes you take a tough loss, and that is what happened to Oregon State on Saturday. And now we're welcoming in head coach Trent Bray to talk about it. And coach, I just want to ask, just off the bat, like, how did rebounding from that game? That's been the talk. It's tough for everybody. Obviously, it wasn't great, right? But rebounding is important. It's not what you did in that game, it's what you do the next game. So how do you rebound from that game?
Yeah, there's a couple things. I think you learn from what cost you, and then you learn from what you did well. When you look at the film on offense and defense, we controlled the whole game. We spotted them 16 points without the defense being on the field. And anytime you do that, it's hard to beat anybody you play. And Fresno's a good team, and you do that to a good team, it's almost impossible to recover.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you look at those, the special team blunders, obviously the snaps, the punt, as you mentioned, like how do you go through and address and fix those specific things moving forward to make sure that those wounds aren't continued to be self-inflicted?
Yeah, it's really with the snaps that I think it's more mental than anything, because Jackson's done a great job since he's been here. He was our snapper all last year, and has done a nice job. So we just got to get him going and be confident again and trust himself and know that he can get it done. And then there's just got to be a level of focus. We can't get lackadaisical. Oh, the ball snapped, I'm going to catch it. We got to be focused and locked in, and everyone's got to do their part to make this thing work.
Yeah, and coach, like, there's really no such thing as a moral victory, right? But there is always learning opportunities, right? And I know that for fans and stuff, it can be upsetting when you lose and you can feel like the sky is falling. And I don't want to continue to focus on that. I want to ask you about what are some of the positive things you saw from your team in this game? Because when I look at the tape, there's things that I saw that I liked outside of the result.
Yeah, I liked how our quarterback played and his improvement from week 1 to week 2. We had some guys like Taz Reddicks, step up and be a playmaker along with Trent, Malachi Durant, Eddie Freeall. Those are all great things. I thought our running game was much better and more consistent. Great drive at the start half. I think it was somewhere around 11 minutes, and you got a touchdown. And then defensively, I thought there was a lot of good things. Continue to be great on third down, hold them to 1 of 8. And then there were some tough situations that we were put in, and we're able to hold them to field goals when they had the ball inside the 20 to start the drive. So there was a lot of positive things that happened in the game, even though the result was not positive.
Yeah, absolutely. Head coach of your Oregon State Beavers, Trent Bray, joining the Rip City Drive right now. And you talk about the defense. Like there was plays there. Sometimes you get gashed for a big run, but sometimes that's football. But like you said, you controlled a lot of that game. One of the plays that I actually liked was that pick there to start the second quarter. Momentum takes that defender into the end zone, and they have the wherewithal to know, hey, we got to get out of here. And they end up getting a pretty good return on it. And I thought the defense, for large part, like you said, kind of had real control of the game. How do you continue to build off that? Again, the mistakes are what they are. That's football. But how do you build on that performance going forward?
Yeah, I think it's a confidence booster for those guys, because there are a lot of guys that are learning in the moment. Even then Jaleel, who got the pick, he's a first-year junior college transfer guy that made a great play and has played well and continues to get better. And we just got a lot of those guys. So some of those explosive plays are in-game learning of how to play their position that we got to continue to coach so they don't continue to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And then on the other side of the ball, Malik Murphy, I thought compared to Cal, you look at that game, a lot more comfortable. You can tell he's getting a hold of what's going on. I mean, what have you seen from your young quarterback that you really like right now?
Yeah, just his willingness to learn and understand the things he needs to get better. I think that's a big part of growth, is the taking accountability of what you got to do yourself, and he does that. And I thought he did a great job getting ready for Fresno in his preparation and not letting that ego or whatever you want to call it be a roadblock for him. He was open to coaching and open to criticism and got better. And so it was great to see.
And coach, so now the next thing you do is now you get to hit the road, right? And people talk about this all the time. I want to know if it's true. When you have two tough losses, is hitting the road a good thing, giving this team a chance, to be on the plane, be on the buses, be on the hotel, have a lot of time with each other to just kind of connect, get on the same page, and work through this thing together?
It can be. It can be. Yeah, you kind of get away from some of the noise that's going on here, and then just be together and focus on, the opportunity we have, which is to go in and play, a top 25 team and go on the road and get a win. So we're excited about that opportunity.
Yeah, and speaking of that, I mean, Texas Tech, it's kind of a place. It's always a interesting place to play. You got to deal with tortillas being tossed to you on kickoff, which is a crazy college football tradition, but college football is fun for reasons like that. What have you seen from Texas Tech on tape that you got to prepare for to be in the best foot forward when you hit that game on Saturday?
Yeah, they're extremely talented. They've collected talent in the off season as well as anybody. And so that's what you got to contend with. They're extremely talented, and, they got a quarterback that does a great job managing the game and what knows where to go with the football. So we got to be on point, and fundamentals and technique, because a team like this, if you're not, then their talent's going to, cause you a lot of problems.
Yeah, this is like the chess match of it all, right? It's a brand new game. You wipe it away, you move forward, and I think that's what makes college football fun, win or lose. It's a great opportunity to go out there and play another good game of football. So the question then comes in, like, again, I know it's all about the wins, but you want to win. I know that. It's obvious in your interviews that you're very, very passionate about what's going on. But outside of just the wins and loss, what is it in a game that you consider you did what we needed to do? We ended that game successful. We accomplished moving forward and getting better as a team.
Yeah, I think it's improving on offense, taking that same step we did from week 1 to week 2, and same thing on defense. There's moments where we were out of our fit that led to 2 long runs where we got to be in our fit. So it's really the discipline of being on task and on your work every time, not just most of the time. And then if we can do that, then it's gonna be successful, and the rest of the season is gonna be successful for us.
All right, and Coach, just last question for you. Football it's the pinnacle of a physical game, right? And so when you look at what happened and you refer to mental mistakes, how do you hone that in to make sure the communication is dialed in and the mental part of the game is as locked in as the physical part?
Yeah, I mean, it's really the week of practice, both the work by the coaches and creating and drilling down on the game plan and making sure that, there's a fine line of too much and not enough, making sure you got the right balance there, so you got enough bullets to use against them, but at the same time, your guys can go out there and play fast. So that's our challenge as coaches, and then as players, it's buying in and to put in extra time. The time that we spend that we're allowed to by the NCAA is not enough. So we're just really harping on, hey, you got to do extra, you've got to do more to make sure that you're ready to go to play the way we need you to play, to do what we're capable of doing.
Absolutely. Head coach of your Oregon State Beavers, Trent Bray, here on the RipCityDrive. Coach, as always, we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us, and best of luck when you hit the road this weekend.
Appreciate it.
There you go, head coach Trent Bray here on the RipCityDrive, and man, he hit the nail on the head. It's the mental part of it. He didn't push past it, didn't avoid the question, which I absolutely respect. But he said it, and he said it in the halftime interview as well. They dominated large parts of that game, whether you think they did or not. He believes that they did, and realistically, they did. They had a chance to win that game, but the botched punt or the botched field goal snap, that leaves points off the board. The punt, not only did you absolutely lose the field position game, you gave them points in one of the weirdest plays you've ever seen. And those self-inflicted wounds are impossible to come back from sometimes. And that's what happened against Fresno State.
And not only those, I mean, you talked about a couple of the big moments there, But even in the little moments of execution that weren't there in that game, like especially we touched on this in the pre-show when you and I were talking about it, is Malik Murphy when he was looking good at times, he'd throw the ball downfield to a wide open receiver who just dropped the ball.
Right.
And that comes down to focus and the mental preparation for the game that just wasn't quite there for this game. So, going forward, you've got plays there that could give you optimism.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a fan, you've got things that are in that game that can give you optimism. It's just going to be kind of hard to find sometimes.
No,
when the result doesn't add up to it.
It is, and that's why I want to make sure, like I let him know, like we know he's passionate. Like the fans get mad, and fans always they're going to come after the head, right? Whether it's the quarterback, the coach, someone's got to go. Blah, blah. Nobody wants to win more than Trent Bray, right?
Yeah.
No one wants to win more. Because here's the deal. Let's just be completely honest, right? If Malik Murphy loses football games, doesn't lose a job, right? Yeah. Might lose starting job. Oh, guess what? Hitting the portal, going to go to school. I'm still going to start. I'm still going to find my Trent Bray. You don't win football games as a coach. You lose a job. Yeah. No one wants to win more than him. That's why I said, like, the whole, dropping the expletive in the halftime. The dude is irritated because he wants his team to play better. And I think that comes from a spot of you see the team in practice, you know what the team can do, and you know that they're better than what you showed out there on the field. If you lose a game, similar to what Gundy did in Eugene, when he basically put the cards on the table saying, without saying it, he said it's going to be a bloodbath.
Yeah.
He knew his team didn't have the same talent level of that team, but they gave their all.
Yeah.
They weren't going to, Flores.
Effort was there.
Yeah, Flores, all right for a backup quarterback. That's different. If your team is out there, they're giving that they're all, and they lose, you take it on the chin. It's football. But again, when it's mental mistakes, which are the things you have 100% control over, the other team doesn't impact that. That's you. That's where you get frustrated. And I just think that's what we saw from him, man.
Yeah.
Everyone wants their coaches and their players to be less buttoned up until they're not buttoned up.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah, right.
And then they're like, oh gosh, he needs to be the decorum of being a head coach. And you can't say, okay, but if he's buttoned up and gives you coach speak every single time, you're like, oh, here
That's
it is
boring.
again. It's
That's
the canned
annoying.
answer, right?
Yeah. That's annoying. And I'm thankful to live in a state where two of our coaches will just say what they mean. I love that. There's not every answer is coach speak.
Yeah.
Every answer is truth on what they're talking. And like you said, Coach Bray didn't sugarcoat that.
Yep.
He said, hey, we got things we need
They
to
got
work
to
on.
be a better, and it's good. You don't say anything to me, you're not going to tell your team.
Yeah.
They know it.
I bet it's harsher to the team than it was to
Right?
us.
They know it. They know it. Those
they played it. They know how bad they played.
I do think the interesting part that he said there, I watch your eyes get big too, is about the practice time we're allotted under NCAA rules ain't enough.
Yeah.
And then it puts it in perspective. Like, yes, the team didn't perform how you wanted to do, but those kids got to deal with their coach riding their backside, right? To fix everything that they messed up in those first 2 weeks, to get back on the road while starting classes, while doing homework, the life of a student athlete, man.
Tough. It's a tough job.
It's like, remember, it's like the Richard Sherman famously talking about, I want anyone on campus to have the schedule of a student athlete, waking up at 5 a.m. for pre-practice workouts, and then it's practice from 8 to 10, and then I got class at 11, and then study hall at 2, and then film study at 3, and then it's it's just
you're gone 24 hours out of the day.
It's like we talk about that versus the pros, and yes, college kids are getting paid money now, NIL and all that, but they still got to go to class. They still got to be academically eligible to play.
Yeah.
So you can't just unless you're UNC, maybe Bill Belichick's going to bring back the paper classes, right? So it's like there's a lot going on there, man. So it's a delicate balance. Meanwhile, on top of getting your team right, you got to go out and hit the recruiting trail. I
genuinely think one of the hardest jobs out there is being a college coach, man.
Oh, yeah.
That you see Dan Lanning's even aged over the last couple of years.
I've aged too, but it's called children.
Yeah, no, I've aged too. It's just getting older and being.
I don't know. There are some coaches that don't age though, because I know we talked about Mare, but Mario Cristobal,
Yeah, yeah,
good-looking fella.
yeah. He stays fit.
He's aging gracefully.
Yeah, he's a fine wine over there, Mr. Cristobal.
Oh my gosh, that's too funny. But yeah, that's just you're right. Being a college coach it's wild. It's not easy.
I saw a post about how much they sleep at night. A couple of the guys were like, oh yeah, I get about 7. I think the most was PJ Fleck with like 7 hours of sleep, and everyone else was like, like 3 to 4. Like during the season, I can get by with 3.
Damn, I feel bad. Man. I feel bad for complaining about my 6 last night.
I know, right? or my interrupted 9 that I'm getting right now as an unemployed man.
Yeah. Usually, it's not the 6 hours of sleep that really gets me. It's the being woken up by a toddler's heel in my rib cage. Like,
that'll do it,
Daddy. Oh, yeah, that hurt. Get it out. It's lodged in between rib number 3 and 4 or whatever. That hurts a lot.
Yeah,
but
we get woken up by low glucose.
You get an alert on your phone. Is that your alarm?
Yeah,
No, blood sugar's low.
Yeah. One of my partner's kids has type 1 diabetes.
Okay.
And so we get every now and then it's like a little. We're just like,
is
he dying?
No.
No, he's fine. He just needs some candy.
Okay. That's wild. That's wild. But we're talking about coaches for a second, Eli. I brought this up with Chad the other day, and you're starting to see some schools add this, but with the way NIL is, right, and the money that's moving around and all this other stuff, like, I wouldn't be surprised if at some point in the very, very near future that these teams, if they don't already, just not forward-facing, have legit professional-style general managers whose only job is to balance those finances. So when a coach walks into a room, because I'm hearing stories, right, from parents and players who say that when you go into a recruiting room right now, it used to be, first question, what's my playing time like? Like, what's the depth chart? But first question coaches are being asked is how much money? What's the dollar sign? What can you pay me? Like, I think you might get to a point where the coach goes, okay, I'm going to go recruit players. You deal with how much we pay them. Like, I don't want to touch that anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if you see some sort of, because like I said, Adrian Wojnarowski, right? He left to go to whatever his alma mater was, St. Bonaventure or whatever, to be a general manager. Damian Lillard, I believe, has been named a general manager for Weber State. Like,
okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if like the actual general manager job becomes a college thing.
Yeah, which is strange because technically the schools weren't allowed to pay them still. It was a collective. It had to be outside, right? So the GM, the internal idea of having a GM who manages all NIL finances is strange,
right? This is all strange, though.
Yeah, because it's like these are exterior sources of income. It's not the school,
right?
So so he has to manage. It makes sense, right? Managing exterior forms of payment to interior employees.
Yeah,
technically.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's weird.
Always be moving forward, not backwards. Upward, not forwards. Ken Koda, Simpsons. Deep cut reference for some of you guys. All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll put a bow on this show for you. And Mitch in Jersey, stay on the line. We'll grab you when we come back because I know your guy Caleb Williams is playing tonight. Got to talk about him, all right? This is the Rip City Drive on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio, 620. Well, welcome back into the RipCityDrive. Chris Burkhardt here with you, joined by my buddy Eli Johnson today. So, we talked about being Duck fans, and it's like, yeah, you're watching a game. We're like, oh, was that Noah Sewell? Was that a former Duck? Was it? Huh?
It was.
Okay.
It was Noah Sewell. He got a tackle. Good for him. Go Ducks.
See, we talk about former Ducks. Like, do you like do you still like Justin Flo?
Ooh, that's tough.
That's
yeah,
a good question, right?
I mean, maybe. I don't know.
Well, it's not like he went to Arizona and lit the world on fire. So
Yeah, it's not like he beat the Ducks by playing like a monster in one of the games. So we're fine.
Yeah,
we're fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Remember Chris Harper?
Yeah.
Wide receiver who ended up going to Kansas State to play quarterback. Good athlete, though.
Yeah, great athlete.
Great athlete. Telling you, man, you go down the list, the Ducks are good. And I do. Jeff Schwartz was getting crap because he said that he thinks this year might be the most talented the team's ever been. And then Husky fans were like, that's what you said last year. And he's like, yeah, and I think this team is more talented than last year's team. But, man, you go down the history of the Ducks. I was like, kids today, oh, this is the best defensive line. I'm like, okay. I know this defense is playing good. I know DJU's phenomenal, but, like, y'all don't know how good Nick Reed was.
Yeah.
like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
You all don't know that Haloti Ngata could step on this team right now and would be the best player on that defense.
By far.
By far. Patrick Chung step on that team right now.
Game changer.
Yeah. Don't act like Oregon ain't ever had good defenders come through just because they've been a Duck fan since 2010.
They just had Don Pelham as their coach, or
Nick Galliotti.
Nick Galliotti. I love Nick Galliotti.
Ben, but don't break, but he was awesome.
Oh, I hated Ben, don't break.
He was that whole coaching staff. I miss so much.
They were so good. They were so good.
Oh man, Don Pelham. Oh God, so good.
Don Pelham as a linebackers coach, specifically, not as defensive coordinator.
Yeah. Oh yes. Coach Campbell. Oh man, good times.
Good times.
Absolutely good times. All right, I said we'd get him online, so let's head out to Mitch in Jersey. Mitch, welcome in to the RipCityDrive. What do you got for us today, sir?
How you guys doing? Thanks for taking my call. I think that Williams is going to have a better year. I don't think last year wasn't too good, so take it with a grain of salt. I think they've added to his offense. That's going to be tough. I think it's one of the best divisions in the NFL.
It's a tough one.
But yeah, definitely. And I think the Bears are still going to weapon for us. I think Minnesota, despite a real raw rookie quarterback and J.J. McCarthy, and I was never a fan of his, but they do have talent, so he can be carried. But I'm loving this college ball. The Big Ten, to me, I think is the best conference. USC, they're doing what they have to do, and they're doing it big. They got some real talent deep and wide receivers, tailbacks especially, even two good quarterbacks. But you gotta like these other a couple other quarterbacks. Even though I want to ask you about the Ducks. Where's AJ Achilles Smith Jr.?
He's sitting, waiting in the wings, my friend.
This is his second year. That's a lot of sitting,
He's gonna be just fine.
Players say they've sit for 4 games. They want to transfer. But anyway, Fernando Mendoza, they lost him from Cal. Cal let him go, and I think he's be really good. I think he's a first-round pick. But Cal got this freshman from Hawaii. His name is Jaron Kewi Sagapoltle.
Yeah.
So far,
nailed it.
Good. He's really he's looking good. Hopefully they can keep him there. But this whole thing, and I'll let you go. This whole thing breaking up the Pac-12 with all the talent. I mean, you think of Stanford and Cali, that's easy material. Maybe in 10 years, if they find more money, that could bring back the Big East. It's so ridiculous. They still have the starting line still stay the same, pretty much, especially when they're playing out there.
No, absolutely, Mitch, and thanks for the call. First thing you said, I do, too, hope that Caleb Williams has a bounce-back year. Did not play good last year. He's very, very talented. We've seen very, very talented quarterbacks not make it in the NFL, though. And unfortunately for him, he plays for the Chicago Bears.
Unfortunate. I mean, we were talking about it at the break.
I mean, it might be different if he played for your Jets. I had a 50-50 chance of guessing which team in New York was his. I hope I guessed right. but no, I hope he is. And yeah, you're right. The Big Ten. I think Big Ten's best conference in football. USC has a very, very high hill to climb to get back in contention, but it's USC, man. They all USC needs is 1 year. USC has 1 year where they're back in Big Ten title game or whatever. Then USC can build off that, and USC can be back in the blink of an eye. It's just they have been down, and why other teams have been moving up, and it just makes it harder. I mean, you look at the conference they're in. Look at what Illinois has been doing, right? That's a team that's been moving up. We've talked about a bunch this show, right? I do like college football when USC is good, though. I have fond memories of that.
Yeah, I mean, it's always fun, the nostalgia of USC being good. Maybe a hot take. I'm not a Lincoln Riley believer. I thought he was okay at Oklahoma, and then him jumping ship to USC set off red flags in my head, and it hasn't really paid off yet. But we'll see where it goes. I could eat crow on this one. I'm just not a Lincoln Riley believer. I just watching him navigate the absolute defensive lapses that they've had over the last couple of years, and just be like, it's okay, for a lot of it. I mean, he's brought in a new coordinator this year. Good hire. I can't remember his name right now, but good hire coming in. So maybe that'll be addressed. But I'm just not a believer, man. I don't know what it is.
I think Lincoln Riley might be in that category where would love to have him as my offensive coordinator.
Love it.
Like
a Scott Frost type.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, I wish Frosty a bunch of luck back at UCF.
Yeah, totally. But I mean, I loved him as our offensive coordinator at Oregon.
Yeah.
I'd take Lincoln Riley to a heartbeat as an offensive coordinator.
And granted, he hasn't need to get back into it because he got the fat buyout money. Everything's good. He, did some commentary for a while out of the game. But, for as bad of a rap he got at Oregon, Mark Helfrich, I think, was a hell of an offensive coordinator.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark Helfrich is probably a better example of great offensive coordinator, bad head coach.
Right.
Great guy.
Did get him to the Natty. Or maybe Marcus Mariota did.
Yeah, that might maybe generational quarterback might be it.
Yeah. Hey, and back to Mitch and Jersey's point with Akili Smith. I mean, we're talking about a freshman here. He's fine.
He's got a couple years.
Yeah, he's a true freshman. Things are gonna be fine. Dante Moore's gonna hold this thing for a year or two. Get me back to the times the guys coming in. It's not starting until they're juniors and ready to go. All right, we gotta go. About 45 seconds left. Eli, thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
If they let me host this thing again, I'll give you another call.
Yeah, man, I got time.
You can hear him on Just Two Fans. He'll record an episode after he moves his desk. And one last time, Trevor, you got to be better if you want Herbert. Saquon for Herbert. We got ourselves a deal. All right, Rip City Drive, that's a wrap for today. Chad Jewing will be back with you tomorrow, 3 to 6, all right here on your home of the Blazers, Rip City Radio 620.